few months ago, one of my videos actually blew up. And while I'm not talking about millions of views, it was a massive deal for my channel. I started seeing comments from people I'd never met, and strangers were sharing my work. But then everything just kind of slowed down. Over the next couple of months, the numbers quietly slid back to where they used to be, and I realized I was right back where I started. My subscriber count was higher, but nothing about my life or my process felt any different. And that's when I started wondering why I was burning so much energy trying to get that same thing to happen again if going viral didn't actually change anything. The video that took off was actually the first time I applied a real story structure to something I made. And on top of that, the title and thumbnail were based on a combination I'd seen work on other channels. So I spent way more time on those than I usually do. People were clicking and sticking around to watch the whole thing, but if I'm being totally honest, I still didn't fully understand why it was working. Two things just happened to work at the same time: story structure and a borrowed format. And when I tried to pull them apart and figure out which one actually mattered, I couldn't. You can't build a repeatable process out of something that you don't fully understand. I spent the next few weeks trying to reverse engineer it. So I built my next video using the same story structure and the same thumbnail approach, but it only got a fraction of the views. I tried one more time with a different angle and the same formula, but the result was exactly the same. Eventually I found myself sitting at my desk editing and realized I didn't even care about the content anymore, because I was just chasing a high from a number on a screen. It felt like I was trying to catch something that was never really in my hands. And that's a pretty miserable way to try to be creative. The real price I paid for chasing views wasn't about the hours I spent, but it was more about how I started looking at my own video ideas. Every time a new thought popped into my head, I didn't ask myself if I actually cared about making it, and instead, I just wondered if the video would go viral. That kind of mindset changes everything about your creative process, because you stop following your own interests and start doubting yourself before you even start typing. I ended up throwing away all the weird and personal ideas that actually meant something to me, just because I couldn't figure out a way to make them look clickable to a stranger. Because of that, the videos I put out just started getting worse. The editing and the audio were still okay, but the heart behind the work felt empty. And I think you can really tell when a creator isn't actually into what he's saying. I would be right in the middle of filming and realize there was nothing real behind any of it. Not because I was doing a bad job, but because I was doing it for all the wrong reasons. Getting views just to have a higher number doesn't actually give you anything worth saying, and it ends up just being noisy content with a face attached to it. The moment things finally changed for me wasn't some huge movie scene or a big realization. I had just finished a video I didn't even like, and I sat there at my desk realizing I didn't even want to hit the upload button. I started thinking back to why I even started this channel in the first place, which had nothing to do with going viral, and I realized the goal I was chasing was the actual problem. What I'm doing these days is a lot easier on my head. Before I even pick up the camera, I ask myself what kind of vibe I want the video to have, and if I would actually sit down and watch it myself. I'm not thinking about if other people will click it, but I'm looking at whether I'd enjoy seeing someone else make this exact same thing. If the answer to that is no, I just don't make it, and that simple rule has become my new filter for everything. The work feels so much better now that I'm being honest with myself. I'm still learning and trying to figure out what this channel is supposed to be, but this way of working is actually sustainable compared to how I felt 6 months ago. I used to really dread seeing 0 views after a couple of days on a video that I had put out. But now I just see it as a starting point for every new video. Going viral once taught me something that chasing it never could, which is that virality was never actually the goal worth having.